What's up, everybody? And last night was the Game Awards. That's right, the Game Awards are back. Even after last year's disastrous VGX, Jeff Keighley is back with another gaming award show. And I remember a couple of weeks ago, Jeff set up a Twitch stream. Basically, he set up a stream and it was like a Q&A session talking about the Game Awards. And I was mildly curious based on some things he said, like that he was personally bankrolling the event himself, that there was going to not be a huge budget production this time around, and there was going to be less celebrities and less musicals and all that other stuff that me and a lot of other people have complained about, and it actually intrigued me. And I went over to the stream, and he had a Q&A session for about a couple hours, and at the end of it, I was like, you know what? I don't have very high expectations for this award show, but you know what? I like a lot of the stuff he was saying. I hope he can live up to it. I'll give it a shot. But this will be your last chance, Jeff Keighley. Those are my thoughts. This would be the last chance. If this show ended up being bad, then that was going to be it for me. So last night, the Game Awards happened. And overall, I didn't think it was that bad. I didn't think it was great, but it was nowhere near as bad as some Spike Video Game Awards, and definitely better than that VGX crap that was last year. But I also wanted to give my brief thoughts on things that happened during the award show. I'm not going to go over every single thing. I just want to go over the things that I'd like to talk about. Otherwise, this video would be very, very long. And me and very, very long videos don't really mix, according to some people. Alright, so anyway, started out the show with Metal Gear Online. And I'm not the biggest Metal Gear Solid fan. I've never really gotten into the series. I don't know what it is. Because I've liked some other stealth games. I just don't know why I've never really gotten into Metal Gear. But apparently the new Metal Gear Solid game is going to have online. And that's what they showed off at the award show. And to me, I don't really see this working out that much. Because the way Metal Gear Solid plays, it doesn't really make for an online multiplayer experience, in my opinion. And a lot of other series have tried, or a lot of series that have had stealth in it, that were based on stealth, have had multiplayer modes, and they really haven't worked out. Hell, at least in my opinion. And Metal Gear even had an online mode. I remember Metal Gear Solid 4 had online. It was called Metal Gear Online. Surprisingly. And from what I've seen, I just don't see how it's going to work out. And one thing that annoyed me during when they were showing off Metal Gear Online was this is the one thing I've never really cared for Kojima, is that his forced humor. I've never really understood why he inserts his forced humor into these games, because it's like 1 minute the game's trying to be super, super serious, and then all of a sudden, bam, here's something cute and funny. Like during this, all of a sudden a soldier popped out a little toy stuffed dog. And it was very cute and stuff, and it's like, what is the purpose? And then another time, soldier got hit a trap and then got his leg caught up and was in a balloon, and he was like, ah, and then Snake shot him down. I've never really understood this forced humor. I mean, I don't like it when it happens in movies. I think the best types of games and movies that are funny is stuff that is genuinely and naturally funny. And I don't think that this stuff is naturally funny. It seems forced to me. But anyway, moving on, we also showed off a Bloodborne trailer, and that game looks awesome. Unfortunately, I think Bloodborne is not really a bad thing, but it kind of shows that From Software, at least from what they've shown so far, is that they can't seem to get out of that Demon Souls, Dark Souls rut. It's like that seems like that's all they know how to do, because this looked almost exactly like Dark and Demon Souls. from the way it played, from the way the character moved. Just the graphics were great, but the art style was kind of like those games as well. Going through fog doors. It's got co-op. The other games had co-op as well. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, but it seems like that they just can't seem to do anything different than what they've done in Dark and Demon Souls. But you know what? Maybe it could be true. I'm still going to get it, and maybe there's other stuff in the game that makes it different. We'll have to see. I'm just going by what they've already shown. So, they also showed off a little bit of The Witcher 3. And I can't wait for The Witcher 3. That game is going to be so freaking awesome. I've never played the first game, but I loved the second game. The second game was awesome. And something they said here kind of intrigued me. They also said that you will be able to play as another character other than Geralt. Or Geralt, sorry. And that's interesting because you only played as Geralt in 1 and 2, and now you'll be playing as someone else in 3, and they also said that person is in the trailer. The first thought that popped in my head was that you were going to play as Triss Merigold. And unless she looks different, I didn't see her in the trailer, so I guess we would be able to play as somebody new in the series. I don't know, because there wasn't really anybody I recognized in the trailer other than Geralt. But yeah, that will definitely be interesting. I'm really looking forward to Witcher 3. That game's going to be awesome. Alright. They also showed off a little bit of No Man's Sky. And see, the funny thing about No Man's Sky is that I have no idea what the hell's going on. I really have no idea what the hell's going on in that game. But it looks awesome. It feels awesome. The music is great. And I just want to play it, but I have no idea why I want to play it. I don't know. I know that sounds incredibly silly, but yeah, I just want to really try this game out. And especially since it's from small-time developers, I love supporting indie developers, and yeah, I can't wait for this game whenever it comes out. Hopefully sometime next year. One cool thing about this award show, I have to say, is that they did a little kind of small documentary on Sierra. Sierra is a longtime developer who developed PC games for many, many years. I played some of their games, although I've not played all their games, and the one game that they showed off, or they talked about a lot, is King's Quest. I've never played King's Quest. I've heard of it. I've never played it, though. But it was really cool seeing this documentary of how the company was founded, the developers, the husband and wife couple that were behind it. It was great. I loved it. I really, really loved it. I wish other gaming events would do stuff like this, because this really, truly celebrates gaming, in my opinion. But apparently there's going to be a new King's Quest coming out, and one thing I have to say is one of the people that was behind the series had a replica hat from the King's Quest games, and she put it on the guy's head who's behind the new version of King's Quest. It was almost like she knighted him. And he immediately took it off and gave it to the girl that is also helping him with the game. I don't know if it's his girlfriend or his wife. And she put it on. What a douchebag. That was a real asshole move this guy did. See, I've never played these games before, and even I knew how important something like that would be. And then for him just to take that hat off and just immediately toss it, that was completely disrespectful. Completely disrespectful, in my opinion. I don't know what the original makers of King's Quest was thinking, but if I were them, I'd be really, really, really upset. But who knows what they were thinking. Okay, and of course, the biggest news of the award show was that they finally showed the Legend of Zelda gameplay. The new Zelda that's coming out next year for the Wii U. And I have to say, although I am not a big fan of the cell shading, because the past two big Zelda releases have had that art style, and I want something new. Now, I understand some people like that art style, and that's great. I don't hate the art style, I just want something new. And when you've done that style for the past two big releases, actually three if you count Hyrule Warriors, I just want something new. I just want something new. But it still looked awesome. And the world looked huge. I mean, because I remember hearing about that this Zelda was going to be more open world, and it definitely looked like that. I don't think it's going to be as open world as, say, Skyrim, but it still looks pretty huge, and that's pretty cool. And of course, you saw Epona, and Link did this cool leaping shot off of Epona. That looks a lot of fun. But the one thing that irritated me about this reveal of the new Zelda game, first off, it was never in full screen. They never put it in full screen. That I will never ever understand that, because any other time a game has been shown off at any event, E3, even VGX and all the other award shows, there was at least periods of time where the game appeared full screen. And this never appeared full screen. And that really irritated me, because if you're going to show off how great a game looks, make it full screen so we can all see it, so we don't have to look at our computer monitors or our televisions and we have to squint to see what it is. I mean, that was kind of irritating. Another thing that was irritating is Miyamoto and the guy he was with. I don't know the guy he was with name, so apologies for that. But Nintendo really, really needs better people to sell their games. They really need better people to do that. And I understand it's Miyamoto. And I will forever be grateful that Miyamoto has given me all these great Nintendo franchises that I've enjoyed over the years. But he can't sell a game. He can't sell a game. You need specific people to advertise your game and to sell it, and he can't do that. That conversation he was having with that guy felt so awkward. And it didn't do a good job of selling the game. Maybe that's why they have Reggie, because Reggie's good at talking. Problem with Reggie is that he fibs a lot. But he's good at talking. He's good at selling something. He's good at making something look good. So I probably would have had him do that instead. Or someone else. But Nintendo really needs to work on that part of advertising. Among other things in advertising as well. But you know what? Baby steps. Baby steps. Another thing during the reveal of the Zelda game is that he briefly asked about Miyamoto about Star Fox. And when I first heard that, I was like, okay, either they're actually going to reveal something now, or he's going to troll Star Fox again like at E3. And I really don't know what to think about this news. I mean, I understand he said Star Fox is coming next year. And since Legend of Zelda is also coming next year, they said, he also said Star Fox is coming out before Zelda. That sounds promising. But here's my problem with that. If the game is coming out before the Zelda game, and you're showing off the Zelda game right now, and the Zelda game is coming out next year, why the hell don't you have any footage of the Star Fox game? There's no footage of it whatsoever. None at all. So, if the game is coming out in less than a year from now, why don't you have anything to show? See, that's what's worrying me about this. Because if I had a game, I'd be showing it off as much as I could. I'd be trying to get people excited as best as I could. But they're not showing anything about it. So, honestly, it's kind of hard for me. I know some people are really excited about this news. But I can't get excited about something I haven't seen. Because I'm afraid they might do something stupid with this game. Like, they had Star Fox Adventures for the GameCube, and I'm sorry, I didn't care for that game. Star Fox, to me, is not a third-person action-adventure game. And then we had Star Fox Assault, and there were some Arwing sequences, but there was also some on-foot sequences, and I didn't really care for those. My favorite thing about Star Fox is being in a vehicle shooting stuff up. Particularly Arwing, but you know what? I don't mind being in the submarine and the Landmaster as well. I forgot what the submarine's called, but I remember the tank was called the Landmaster. But yeah, that's what I want out of Star Fox. And I'm afraid that they might try to do something else different with this game. That's why I'd like to see it. I can't get excited about something I haven't seen. So, yeah, it was still pretty big news, though. It was still pretty big. And I guess the last thing I want to touch on is Game of the Year. Game of the Year, the big award. It went to Dragon Age Inquisition, and while I'm really enjoying Dragon Age Inquisition right now, I kind of felt Shadow of Mordor should have got it instead. And the reason being is because Lord of the Rings games haven't had many good entries. And this was the first Lord of the Rings game I played that was actually really, really good. And even though I'm enjoying Dragon Age Inquisition, it's the third game in the series. It's already an established series. Shadow of Mordor is not an established series, and it was really good for a new IP. So I think that kind of holds more importance than an established series. And even though I have some issues with Shadow of Mordor, it's a game that you can build off of for the future. And I hope they do if they make another Shadow of Mordor game. I really do. I'd be interested to see what they can do with that. But since it was a new IP, I kind of felt it should have got the nod over Dragon Age. But of course, you're more than welcome to disagree. So, anyway, I kind of rambled on long enough, and apologies for that. My overall thoughts on the award show was that it was a hell of a lot better than previous awards. And if it's true that Jeff Keighley paid for everything here out of his own personal funds, I have to commend him for that. I appreciate it. It was a pretty good award show. The only issue I have with it is he still had filler on the show. There was musical acts by Imagine Dragons. Oh my god, I don't care for them at all. I don't care for the Imagine Dragons. I mean, that's just me. I don't really care for their singing. Their instrumentals are pretty good, but I never really cared for their singing that much. And I don't watch gaming shows for dancing. I don't watch them for musical acts. I don't watch them for light shows. I don't watch them for DJs that aren't that very good. I want to see games. And if you don't have enough footage of games and stuff about games to fill out your show, then you know what? Maybe you should consider making your show shorter. I'd rather watch a show that's an hour and a half, that's wall-to-wall games, than a show that was 3 hours where hour and a half's about games, the other hour and a half is about filler, like musicals and stuff like that. I mean, the Sierra documentary, see, I'd like to see more of that, because that, like I said, that celebrates gaming. The musicals and stuff, that really doesn't celebrate gaming. Because honestly, if I wanted to hear the game music, I would play the game myself or pop in the soundtrack. I don't need to watch people play the music. And if you like that stuff, that's great, but I consider it a waste of time on an award show, in my opinion. But anyway, those are my thoughts on the Game Awards. Let me know what you think, and I will see you all next time. Have a good one.